Hey, we're going on a side quest.
Look, there's no sense in staying on ceremony. You know what Twitch is, you know what TwitchCon is. Twitch is the biggest streaming platform in the world, and TwitchCon is its biggest convention. And recently that said convention was the center of a massive public scandal. The famous streamer Emiru was assaulted during one of her meet and greets. A parasocial fan was allowed to skip right past security, waltz past the line, and walk right up to her. He grabbed her, holding her in his arms, while attempting to force her to kiss him. Obviously, that is disgusting, and it was caught on camera for the world to see. It sparked a wider discussion around streamer safety and con safety, and I want to be a part of it because I have wanted to talk about convention safety for a while, ever since this video by Swell Entertainment about Gen Con, a convention I'm going to be going to next year in 2026. And yeah, with everything I've seen this year, I'm like a little bit nervous about that. I don't think anything bad's gonna happen to me or anything. Frankly, I'm not big enough for anyone to like want to kiss me, I think. But at the same time, it does make me just a tad nervous that seemingly content creator safety has been getting neglected almost systematically by many conventions and events. I think someone's got to talk about it because it goes way past Twitch, way past Emiru. It is a problem in many, many spaces. So today, we're talking about negligent security, negligent CEOs, content creators being abandoned, and just general convention nonsense. Yeah, it's a lot of fun today. So without further ado, what the hell happened?
I have seen a stronger security presence at my dilapidated local Winn-Dixie.
Wake them up, samurai! We have a city to burn!
Okay, while this video is primarily about Emiru, I do want to address one thing. At the same time as this whole situation happened with TwitchCon and the assault, Emiru also came out with allegations against her ex-boyfriend, the streamer Mizkif.
Today, I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing.
Obviously, these allegations are very, very serious, and I want to take them seriously if I ever cover them. The point is, I'm not covering them here. I do not want to do just like a half-ass segment on something with so much gravity. If I ever talk about Emiru and Mizkif and his alleged abuse, I will give it a full video and my full due diligence. For now, we're talking about TwitchCon. Mizkif, he may have his day in the future. In any case, let's go back to TwitchCon and rewind to before Emiru was attacked. She and many other female streamers were already expressing concerns about the convention because, seemingly, this whole safety thing had been getting worse over the course of 2025. This year, we saw Twitch streamers getting assaulted live on camera during their stream, and Emiru was one of the women in that situation.
Security! He's harassing us.
What's going on? What's going on, man?
Right now.
I'll kill you right now. Fuck off.
Kill you right now. A man attacked them in public. They had to flee on camera in front of their audiences. It was a really, really rough situation, and it served as, once again, another spark around convention safety concerns. Because if this is the kind of thing happening in random locations on their stream, then what's gonna happen when they're all advertising to their fans, hey, possibly parasocial and psychotic fans, we're all gonna be here at this place together? Yeah, it seemed like a recipe for disaster, and so many female streamers were expressing that they were hesitant to go to Gen Con. Emiru was one of them.
I'm kind of afraid to go to TwitchCon.
We're in a bit of a conundrum with TwitchCon.
I've been so anxious and scared and sad this whole past week with everything that's been going on.
She did end up choosing to go, but there were some caveats. Like, for example, caveats with her events. If you're unaware, big streamers like Emiru often host massive events in big ol' halls with hundreds of people in attendance. They often take a lot of planning, months of work, and allegedly, Twitch was holding these events hostage.
In order to, I can't cancel my meet and greet and not cancel her show I'm under contract with them, so I can't cancel one and not cancel the other.
Interesting. Oh.
If you're not catching exactly what's being said there, essentially, Twitch was telling these people that if they don't do their meet and greets, their events would be canceled. You can't just cancel the meet and greets. You need to do the meet and greets and the events. If you cancel the meet and greets, then your event that you planned for months is going to, which really, really, really sucks. You can see that the women here are clearly disappointed in this revelation, and there's also a bit of foreshadowing.
I'm sorry,
I kept my
Emmy.
meet and greet because I wanted to keep my show. Surely it'll be fine.
I'm sorry, Emmy.
I'm sure everyone will.
Sometimes foreshadowing really is relatively obvious. But in any case, I will clarify that Emiru did say later that other streamers managed to cancel their meet and greets. She just didn't think it was worth the trouble, especially since Twitch seemed hesitant about it. She just thought everything would be fine. It wasn't fine. Fast forwarding to the situation at hand, Emiru is doing her meet and greet as normal. She's talking to a perfectly nice fan when suddenly she sees a man approaching her, rushing at her from beyond the line. She thinks at first that this is someone from TwitchCon staff, because why the hell would he be let through like this otherwise? He then proceeded to grab her.
It seems like he's supposed to be here, and then he leans in like he's gonna tell me something. So in my head, I'm like, maybe it's like TwitchCon staff like coming to let me know something, but I'm still like freaked out because he grabbed me. That's not normal. And then he grabs my face and he leans in and lips puckered tries to kiss me, and I start screaming. You can't hear it in the clip, but I'm fucking screaming my head off.
I want to make it clear that there are 3 to 4 TwitchCon staff members in the area, but they are loitering so far away from the situation that they don't appear on camera when this whole event was filmed. And I also want to make it clear that throughout this entire situation, they never check on Emiru, they never approach to confront the guy, they don't pay attention at all. Allegedly, according to eyewitnesses, TwitchCon staff looked over, realized they missed something, and then just went back to having small talk with each other, moving on with their lives.
The Twitch security kind of got together after that, and we were like, wait, what happened? Oh, I didn't even see what happened, haha, and just started talking about something else.
If you watch the video, you'll notice that Emiru was saved by a guy. That was not TwitchCon staff. That was her own personal security guard who got the guy off her. He then proceeded to just walk away. And like I said earlier, TwitchCon staff didn't exactly do anything to stop him. He just walked back onto the convention floor, badge and name tag in hand, just fine. Emiru is then pulled to the backstage by her manager and friends comfort her. She then has to go back outside because once again, no one from Twitch is handling the situation at all. Emiru herself needs to go outside after she was assaulted and apologize to the audience because they had to see that.
And again, no one from Twitch there. I say to this guy, I'm like, I'm sorry you had to see that, and he's like, no, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Why am I having to tell the TwitchCon attendees and my fans, sorry you had to see that, and not someone from Twitch or Twitch security?
Which is horrible. Just straight up horrible. Now, after this whole situation has gone down, obviously her team is in lockdown mode. They're trying to figure out what they can do to get law enforcement involved, and allegedly her manager is being stonewalled by Twitch at every step. It took them hours to get in contact with security. By that time, the manager had already contacted law enforcement. Police were already aware of him and looking for him. The manager already had a lawyer on call, ready to go so charges could be pressed, all before TwitchCon security staff were even in the front door.
It took them 2 hours to approach her to talk about what happened. And by then, she had already talked to police and called a lawyer on her own. My manager, Melissa.
That's how long it took TwitchCon security to even realize that this was a real problem. Oh my god. Allegedly, once the manager finally is talking to Twitch, Twitch reassures her by saying, don't worry, we banned the guy for 30 days. Well, it seems kind of silly to ban the guy from the convention for 30 days. I mean, the convention only goes for a few days, right? Well, no, that's not what they meant. They meant that they banned this man who committed a crime in front of the public. They just banned him on Twitch, like the online platform.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I asked them, you know, like, what are they gonna do about this? And you know what they said initially? They said, oh, well, he's banned from the platform for 30 days.
A 30-day ban is insane. Obviously, the manager's immediate response is, why is his account not deleted immediately? And then they proceeded to do that, thankfully. She then was trying to get law enforcement involved in the situation, and allegedly, according to law enforcement, Twitch was very hesitant to work with them to actually find this dude. Very non-cooperative.
I got a phone call from the San Diego police, and they were talking to me, and they basically said, hey, we can't really do anything right now because they apparently know the name of the guy, but they're not giving it to us until a warrant goes through.
Now, I will clarify, I do not have eyes into the legal aspect of this whole matter. I know that Legal Eagle, led by a team of actual lawyers, have done a video on this situation, but in terms of what law enforcement have done about this guy and what charges are being pressed and like blah, 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 all I know is that according to Emiru, law enforcement said that Twitch and TwitchCon were being very unhelpful throughout this entire situation. Which, at least they're consistent, aren't they? While this whole thing is going down, someone posts the recorded clip to Twitter, where it then goes viral. Emiru was extremely grateful for this because she honestly had no idea how she was going to tell the audience what happened. If nobody filmed it, then she'd have no proof, and the amount of backlash and doubting that she'd undoubtedly get would really, really suck and likely be really unhelpful for getting anything done about the situation. Luckily though, some random guy just happened to be filming the stage at that second and actually caught the whole thing on camera. Twitch only then would issue a public statement, which, side note, Emiru does not believe they would have done that if this clip hadn't gone viral. And given how much they were stonewalling the manager and how unhelpful they were being with law enforcement, I fully believe that that is the case. I do believe this viral clip is the only reason Twitch said anything. This video is sponsored by Ian from Little House Lessons. Little House Lessons is your quest companion for learning piano, guitar, bass guitar, ukulele, mandolin, and more, along with studying music theory, ear training, songwriting, song production. This guy does it all. I did remote lessons just like this over the pandemic myself, and it really helped refine my skills as a saxophone player and as a musician generally. Best of all, you can do them right from your living room. He's also been a teacher for decades, and the first 30 people who sign up with my link get free lessons. 2 free 30-minute lessons or 1 free 60-minute lesson. It's a free, no obligation trial. You don't want to miss out on that. If you guys are interested, then you can head down to the description down below or to the pinned comment where you can get Little House Lessons for yourself. Remember, first 30 people get free lessons. So hurry up. Do not miss that opportunity. Thank you so much, Little House Lessons, for sponsoring today's episode. As always, supporting our sponsors does support us. And without further ado, let's get back to the tea. This was their statement. The safety and security of all those attending TwitchCon is our highest priority. The behavior displayed by the individual involved in the incident yesterday involved a high-profile streamer that was completely unacceptable and deeply disturbing. In line with existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement and security were on site and responded to the incident. We immediately blocked this individual from returning to TwitchCon and banned him indefinitely from Twitch, both online and for in-person events. We are coordinating with the impacted creators team and, per our standard protocols, continue to cooperate with any law enforcement investigations. We have increased security at the meet and greet attendee check-in points and have additional security personnel surrounding participating streamers. Yeah, Emiru had some other things to say about all this. I mean, based on the story that she's already been telling, you already know that some of this statement is blatantly false.
The behavior displayed by the individual involved in the incident yesterday involving a high-profile streamer was completely unacceptable and deeply unsettling. In line with existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement event security were on site. That's a lie. That's literally a lie.
Y'all were stonewalling law enforcement. You were not in full cooperation with them. Event security were not on site to respond to the incident. Emiru herself had to apologize to her audience for her own assault. You couldn't even get a spokesperson out there. You couldn't even get a guy to take a picture of him. One of Emiru's fans was the one that did that. Oh my god. There is so much BS in this statement, but I think the worst part is their whole spiel about event security. Once again, according to Emiru, they weren't emailing or informing anyone about this happening, at least in the immediate aftermath. She believes that this whole response is once again just because of the viral clip and just because of the backlash. If nobody had filmed it, nothing would have happened. A lot of the information from this video and a lot of what I'm saying about Emiru's statements, they're coming from a live stream that she did at TwitchCon, because yes, she stayed. She continued with her meet and greet. She continued with her events. She stayed at the convention despite everything, and I gotta say, I respect the grind, because if this happened to me, I'm out. Catch me on the first plane gone. Bye-bye. But yeah, this situation is bad enough with Twitch's general response, but Twitch CEO Dan Clancy, his personal response, you gotta see it to believe it, man.
The safety of our creators is a top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't today.
Oh my god. This is like the what was she wearing of digital online content creators. He is indirectly blaming Emiru for getting assaulted. Hell, it's barely indirect. He's essentially saying, look, she should have moderated her community better, which is just insane for a streamer of her size. This woman has millions of fans. What moderation can she realistically do to root these people out? Online moderation also doesn't apply to in-person events. Clearly, Twitch doesn't know that, since apparently they initially thought that an online ban of 30 days was an appropriate response to a recorded crime. But somehow his statement only gets more tone-deaf when he starts specifically talking about Emiru.
I mean, as you know, I think you toured some of what we do in terms of security. The reality is, even as you do a lot in terms of security in today's world, there are challenges that can present themselves, especially when someone is putting themselves out there, right? And so, we try to work very closely with each creator about what they want to do.
But anyway, shirking responsibility and claiming that these things happen is just ridiculous. I understand that TwitchCon obviously has some measure of security. I've seen it myself. It exists. But the point of the matter is that it wasn't here. You can have all these security protocols in place, but if they don't work when they need to work, if your security can be bypassed by a guy who literally just stood there for a couple seconds, waited for a gap, and then just waltzed in, then clearly your security needs to be overhauled. You can't just say these things are gonna happen. You have to be preventative and proactive. Oh, and don't think I didn't notice him saying how this happened to someone who's all out and about. Dude, Emiru didn't want to be all out and about. Remember? She didn't want to do this meet and greet. She was forced to, because if she didn't, you'd cancel her events that she'd been planning for months. Oh my god. Emiru herself released a very long response on Twitter, just responding to everything Twitch had been saying and essentially condensing down her live stream that she did at TwitchCon. Yesterday, a man assaulted me and was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon, even in front of other creators' meet and greets, to grab me and my face and try to kiss me. Fortunately, he wasn't able to, but a lot of people have pointed out that it could have been a lot worse. I'm obviously shaken up by what happened today, and it's not the first time I've dealt with something like this, but to tell you honestly, I am more hurt and upset by how Twitch handled it during and after the fact. That whole thing about this not being the first time this has happened, yeah, that's also pertinent, because this isn't even the first time this has happened at TwitchCon. Allegedly, a stalker approached her during a previous TwitchCon event, and Emiru's personal security guard grabbed him to save her. He then held the man waiting for law enforcement to come in and do the arrest, which is, the job of a security guard. What then proceeded to happen is Twitch banned the security guard for life.
There was a stalker, and he held him by the arm until police got there. And because of that, he was indefinitely banned from TwitchCon. Like, from all of TwitchCon, not just the venue, because that was in Las Vegas.
Like, not banned from the convention hall. No, banned from every TwitchCon for life. Let me make it clear. A guy who assaults a woman in public, on camera, gets 30 days. This guy, who's just doing his job and protecting his client, gets banned for life. Awesome. Great job, Twitch. Good to know that your priorities are in order. Obviously, people were not happy with Twitch around this whole thing, so Dan Clancy would release a new statement to Twitter. And this one was... at least it was better than the last one. First, I want to be upfront and take accountability for the security incident that occurred during Emiru's meet and greet. It shouldn't have happened, and we take that very seriously. We failed, both in allowing it to occur and in our response following. We mismanaged our communications after the incident, and that includes the comments I made. I apologize to Emiru that took place. What we're doing moving forward? For meet and greets, we've begun a complete analysis of the incident that took place, as well as other issues that came to our attention after TwitchCon concluded. We're examining everything, from how we do signups to the layouts to increased security controls. At least something got done. But the fact that it took all this is honestly what shook me and Emiru up the most. Emiru almost got lucky with this whole situation, which sounds awful because this whole situation is horrifying. I don't think anyone who has to go through this should be considered lucky. But Emiru herself pointed out that, one, it could have been much, much worse. Had this guy been armed in any way, Emiru could have been seriously injured or even killed. Yes, this time it was just a hug. That's what so many people respond to the situation by saying, oh, it wasn't a big deal. He hugged her, he kissed her, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but you didn't die. She could have. And if the guy had approached her with deadly intent, what would TwitchCon staff have done? Nothing. They would have done nothing. The fact that they were so negligent, completely ignored the situation, both during and after the event in question, it just showed that it could have been much, much, much worse. Security does not exist just to respond. It exists to prevent, and there was no prevention here at all. But beyond that, Emiru was also lucky because she had a security guard that could save her. She had a manager that could advocate for her. She had friends who could comfort her. Not every streamer has that. And had this happened to somebody with a much smaller following, what recourse would they have had?
If you're a small streamer and you don't have those resources, or someone in your line's not filming, what the fuck do you do? No one would have known. I genuinely think there have been other people who have been sexually assaulted, groped, who fucking knows, worse, at these conventions, and just nobody knows.
Yeah. This was just the time it got captured on camera. And by the way, even with all those resources and all those fans and all the supporters and friends and her team, I don't think any change would have happened if this incident hadn't just happened to be recorded on camera. I said that before, but I really need to make it clear. This is just the time the guy was caught. And I know that because this has been happening constantly with influencers all the time, and more people have been talking about it and even refusing to go to events because of it. For example, Wolfey. Wolfey is a Pokemon YouTuber, and he has been known for years for going to Pokemon tournaments. He's a competitive player. Makes sense that he'd attend tournaments like, for example, Worlds. But recently, just weeks ago in fact, he has announced that he will no longer be attending in-person tournaments, that those days are completely done for him.
I guess what I will say about that is that it is entirely possible that I never compete in or attend another world championships again.
Why? Well, because he's constantly getting groped by fans.
I attended 7 in-person tournaments. At 5 of those tournaments, I was groped. Fans, when taking pictures with me, put their hands on me sexually and non-consensually during the act of taking photos.
Because, yeah, getting groped by fans, it's not a minor thing. It's not a small thing. It's not a little example. It's horrifying, man. It really is. And that's not the only bad thing that's going on with him. He's constantly getting just grabbed by fans in general, not necessarily in a sexual way, but just to, like, get his attention, completely disrespecting his boundaries for starters, but it's made worse by the fact that he also has severe neck problems. So when somebody grabs him and turns him around, it can cause his neck to spasm.
Go ahead and grab him, right? Like you would reach out and touch a friend. Except that for me, I don't know these people and they're strangers, and it made my life so difficult at that tournament that I decided that I couldn't continue having my neck spaz out. And
like, God, no wonder he doesn't want to go to these events anymore if this is how his supporters are going to treat him. And it's not just TwitchCon or Pokemon Worlds. I mean, right here in the TTRPG community, guess what? We got the same problem. You know Matt Colville? Matt Colville, if you're not a TTRPG fan, he is a designer behind the game Draw Steel. He's worked with Matt Mercer and Critical Role. He created the Running the Game series on YouTube. He is a very, very famous GM and game designer. And guess what? He does not go to Gen Con, the world's biggest tabletop role-playing game convention. Yeah, he just skips out on it. Why? Well, because he's also getting grabbed by parasocial fans. Once Gen Con meant people stopping me, often physically grabbing me every 60 feet, all day, everywhere, throughout the entire city of Indianapolis, my Gen Con days were over. It could have been worse. Mr. Matt Mercer can't go 15 feet without getting accosted, and I don't want to need security in order to just walk around. So that's the reason Matt Colville refuses to go to Gen Con. That sucks. He is a major part of this industry, and he doesn't go to the biggest event in this industry because people just can't be freaking normal. And it is even more horrifying when you realize that while TwitchCon security is lax, Gen Con security is allegedly non-existent. Swell Entertainment made a video about Gen Con, like I said in the intro, where she looked at the convention, and while she liked most of it, there were some things that thoroughly unimpressed her, like, for example, security.
Security? They're there to, like, make sure you have a badge. That's it. No metal detector, no bag check. And, like, also they're selling knives in, like, one booth had, like, actual weapons. I don't think anyone was able to just, like, walk out with them. I do think they were secured. But, like,
it's even more irritating because a ton of Gen Con regulars rushed to her comment section to white knight for the guys running Gen Con, telling her that you don't understand. It'd be completely impractical to have security at this convention. I mean, it's such a big convention. There's so many people here. How are they supposed to properly have security at this massive con? Implying that a con being big is a reason why it shouldn't have security? What the fuck? Now, I do want to address first and foremost, before we move on, that these two guys make all the misogyny that happened in response to Emiru only more ridiculous. Because, yeah, every incel NPC on the internet jumped down her throat to defend and white knight for this random attacker. Because, I mean, yeah, what did you expect? Once again, the digital, well, what was she wearing? Well, clearly, based on the account of these two dudes, it doesn't matter what she was wearing. It doesn't even matter if she is a she. This is a problem everywhere. It's especially a problem for women, but it's a problem everywhere. And it's a problem that needs to be addressed. Look, I don't want to leave this unsaid, but Matt Colville and Wolfey, they were not talking about their respective events. Clearly, they've got a lot of reverence for these events. They were mostly talking about the people who were accosting them. However, this might be a hot take, but I think we should hold events at least, you know, partially kind of responsible if, for example, an assault happens on the premises, especially if allegedly the security is incredibly lax. This is not just a TwitchCon problem. It's happening with events everywhere. Look, I'm not trying to say that we need to go extreme about it and have a TSA agent groping every single attendee or anything like that. No, but just like common sense stuff, that would be great, because That's the first solution. Even freaking XQC could propose a more common sense solution to meet and greets, for example.
And there's a little gate here. There's a little gate here, right? And a security guard right here. And you can't go up. Oh yeah, if you're in line with the meet and greets, whatever, right? But I mean, you go up. You go. If this guy lets you in, whatever. Nobody can just walk on him. That's crazy.
When frickin' XQC is the voice of reason in the room, we all need to reconsider some things about our lives. That's the first part of this problem. Negligence. Look, events need to fulfill their basic responsibility to keep talent safe. I don't care if nothing bad has happened yet. Like I said earlier, security is about prevention, not about just addressing a problem after it's already become a problem. We need to be proactive with these kind of things. Otherwise, something really, really bad could happen at these conventions. I mean, the giant sea of people at Gen Con, with their complete refusal to check bags, for example, one guy with a knife in that sea of people, yeah, that's a stampede that Gen Con would probably never recover from. It doesn't matter if it hasn't happened yet. The possibility that it could easily happen if someone just has a bad day is enough alarm bells for Gen Con security staff. Now, that's the corporate responsibility. I do want to address the other problem, which is a change in fan culture.
Please be normal. Please be normal. Most of you are normal. The vast majority of people are normal, but 0.1% of 2 million is 2,000, and that's not nobody. So
look, Wolfey was not always getting groped at tournaments. Matt Colville used to be able to go to Gen Con perfectly normally. Emiru didn't always need a personal bodyguard around her at all moments of the day. Things have changed. Things have gotten worse. And while I do think it's responsibility of these companies to mitigate that problem, the root cause of the problem is still a growing parasociality. We've talked about parasociality before, people in our audiences growing incredibly attached to online creators, forming unnatural bonds with them, and then acting on those bonds in ways that are bad. It's getting worse, and I don't really know what we can do about it. That's the worst part. Every time someone talks about parasociality, it's brushed off because most people, A, don't care, and B, even if you do care, what are we supposed to do? What is Emiru supposed to be less likable so that people don't grow attached to her? It's a sign of a greater societal problem that content creators just not built to accommodate. I do want to acknowledge the root cause of this because it's easy to just blame security, to just blame negligent CEOs, because at least there I can see a practical solution. Even XQC, idiot that he is, can propose a practical solution. But with parasocial fans and the way they treat content creators, God, I don't really know what the practical solution is. It's a much bigger problem, and I don't think it's one that's going to be solved anytime soon. But until then, at the very least, we need to hold these events responsible. Do what we can to mitigate these issues before they become issues, because in the future, something much, much worse could happen. I really hope this isn't a flashback that we're going to flash back to later. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed somehow, then you might enjoy this previous episode where we covered some live streamer nonsense, a toxic Marvel Rivals player. That one's much more lighthearted. It's linked up in the cards. But before you go, you might want to let me know if you were loyal to the tavern by heading down the comments and leave the comment prevention to let me know at the end of the video. You also might want to leave a like on this one and subscribe to Crispy Tavern so you miss any of our content when it comes out. And finally, if you want to support us directly, then you can head over to our Patreon or grab our merch. Remember, these things what makes these videos possible. And like, comment, subscribe, support. I will see you all next time. Farewell.
Hey, we're going on a side quest.